Mitch McConnell announced on Wednesday that he intends to step down as the longest-serving Senate Republican leader following November's general election. Here for nearly 20 years, Republicans have relied on the effective Kentucky legislator to navigate the passage of conservative priorities. Since he announced the news, Washington has moved quickly to speculate who could replace Mr. McConnell, who has skillfully held his fracturing party together in recent times. Those vying to succeed Mr. McConnell face the daunting prospect of appealing to competing wings of the party. Here are some of the Senate Republicans who are potential successors. Senator John Thune of South Dakota. Mr. Thune is typically the first mentioned of the three Johns who are considered the top candidates to take on Mr. McConnell's leadership position. The South Dakota senator is currently the Republican whip, second in command to Mr. McConnell, and he is known as an effective fundraiser within his party. He also is seen as a moderating force among Republicans who have taken a hard turn to the right under leadership of former President Donald Trump. But Mr. Thune's position in leadership could also undermine his ambition to take on Mr. McConnell's post. Some Senate Republicans, particularly those allied with Mr. Trump, have made clear they would like a fresh leader. It is worth noting that Mr. Thune only endorsed the former president's candidacy a few days before Mr. McConnell's announcement. Mr. Trump also endorsed the South Dakota senator's Republican primary challenger in 2022. Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming. As the Republican conference chair, Mr. Barrasso has an influential position within Senate party leadership. And he also has never crossed Mr. Trump. That could prove to be the necessary recipe to earn the support of many of his fellow Republicans if he were to pursue Mr. McConnell's leadership post. Mr. Barrasso was the second senator to support Mr. Trump's candidacy ahead of the 2024 primary campaign, and he has backed a slate of candidates who are in lockstep with the former president. He immediately dismissed reporters' questions when asked whether he intends to battle for Mr. McConnell's position, saying that he remains focused on the election results in November. Senator John Cornyn of Texas. The Texas senator once served in Mr. McConnell's leadership team, and he remains a close confidant of the Kentucky politician. He is widely considered a strong Senate operator thanks to his 22 years of legislative experience. Staying outside of leadership could also prove to be a benefit, as he did not participate in the recent deal to pass foreign aid in the Senate. He also was not part of the failed border security negotiations, which proved unpopular with the Republican conference. And while Mr. Cornyn has taken Mr. Trump to task in the past, he endorsed the former president last month, he also never supported any of Mr. Trump's challengers. Senator Rick Scott of Florida. Mr. Scott angered a number of his Republican colleagues when he mounted a challenge against Mr. McConnell 15 months ago. He burned further bridges with them by proposing that several popular federal programs, such as Medicare and Social Security, be renegotiated every 5 years. Even Mr. Trump, who has been supportive of the Florida politician, has warned Mr. Scott to be careful about his policy suggestions. I have been very clear and have long believed that we need new leadership in the Senate that represents our voters and the issues we were sent here to fight for, Mr. Scott said.